People always ask how I balance my family life with 400 shows a year. I'm just doing what I love with the people I love. It's my magic life. All right. First off, episode 4, we're going to have our publicist on here today. Her name is Jessica Ross. She's on the phone. Hey, Jessica.
Hey, everyone. It's good to be on this podcast today.
And Natalie, of course, is always with me. And first off, before I say anything else, I want to say that this app, this podcasting thing is so cool. I know you can do it on YouTube. You can probably figure it out on Facebook of who's listening and who's checking out your stuff. But I got a notification this week that I have a pretty big fan base also in Canada, which was awesome. So yeah. I have a lot of downloads from my Canadian fans. So nice. Thank you guys for listening, and we'll keep putting this stuff out every single week. So our guest today is Jessica Ross. Like I said, she's a model, she's an actress, she's a TV host, and she's also a publicist and my publicist. I thought I would go, before we get into Jessica, I would go over how I got a publicist in the first place and how I stumbled upon getting Jessica in the long run. Back in 2014, I was working a farm, and no, it was a county fair. It was a county fair.
Yeah.
I just remember it was outside and hot. I thought it was a farm.
It wasn't a farm.
And I was doing magic, and they also had another guy at a county fair doing magic shows and like animal demonstrations, and he had like a petting zoo menagerie. And I got to know him, and he said he worked on season 1 of Carbonaro. And we became good friends, and when he saw my show, he was just blown away. He thought my show was awesome. And during that week at that county fair, he found out that they were actually going to have season 2 of Carbonaro. They liked it so much, they ordered another season right away. Well, this guy already had contracts to be on the road, and he asked if he thought I could fill his place just for that season.
Yeah.
And we were like, heck yeah. And it wasn't just that he met us, saw our show. I mean, we stayed there from 8 o'clock at night till 2 in the morning every single night after our shows. We would get there early. We'd go to shows, come back, hang out with him. We spent a lot of time with him that week.
Yeah, we really got to know him. And Lana loved him because he had a monkey, and she loved his monkey.
But anyway, he got us a job on Carbonaro Effect, and we busted our butt on Carbonaro. We were not only animal trainers, but also magic consultants on the show. And everybody on set was commenting on how hard we were working. And our last day of set, some lady came up to us and said, hey, if you ever are in need of a publicist, let me know. Here's my card. I know what you're doing. I like what you're doing. And I checked out your stuff. You're a step ahead of half the people that I have approach me all the time. And I think this is awesome. So we're driving home from Atlanta like, yeah, we got a publicist. We thought we were something.
We were all excited.
And she was awesome. She was a really great lady. I don't know. It was a part-time job for her. But somehow she knew everybody from Paula Deen to country singers to local politicians and even like national politicians. She had her finger in so many pies. It didn't make sense. And but over time, we were growing, and she was also growing with her other jobs. And over time, it just became too demanding to do both. So we ended up losing her, which I felt like I was breaking up from a girlfriend. It was because we'd talk on the phone for hours, like I do with Jessica. We'd talk on the phone and go over stuff. And then, like a month later, I went on a radio show, and it was Wendy Edwards, and we were promoting probably one of our 24-hour magic shows that we did for the Children's Miracle Network.
Probably.
Where I do 24-hour magic shows to raise money for the kids at Christmas time. And during the conversation, I told her that, I would love to have a publicist. You know, I'm trying to do all this stuff myself. This event is just wearing me out. I have to do press releases. I have to do this. Plus I have to do radio. Plus I have to do this. Man, if I only had a publicist. And she said, well, that's my part-time job. I own a PR company. And
she loved doing it and helping people out. She also did like social media stuff as well, which we didn't need, but we took the publicist aspect and ran with it.
And we did a lot of cool things together with Wendy. Wendy's awesome. Wendy's still a friend.
Yeah, absolutely.
The thing with Wendy, she has a big heart, and her daughter was going off to college, and she wanted to be a foster mom.
Yep.
And when she got in the system, the first case they gave her was 4 in desperate need kids, 4 kids that were coming from a not good home, maybe abuse, something horrible.
Yeah.
And she didn't want to split up the kids, so she took all 4 in.
And these were young kids. They were like, I don't know, 6 and younger, 4 kids, 6 and younger,
and
or 7 and younger, something like that. They're young.
And what happened was she just taken care of all these kids and everything about these kids. She just didn't have time to be a publicist anymore. So
yeah,
fell off. And then here comes Jessica. Natalie and I are doing. I remember when I met you, Jessica. It was summertime.
Yep.
Natalie was teaching Lana after one of our shows at like a library show.
It was a library.
And we were just hanging out afterwards. And I was scrolling through social media, and I saw you wrote back to me, and we were in the middle of 183 shows June through August, and I was so overwhelmed. And I was like, "Please, I need you. When can you start?" So.
That's why I mean it was so long ago.
How long ago has it been? I don't even know. It's all a blur. Is it 2 or 3 years?
7 years, and it's like, I know, you never know if you're going to be on social media. It's so funny. Whenever I'm traveling or waiting in line, is when I go through all my messages, and it's interesting because I've met friends and clients and so many contacts. I'm telling you, just by I'm like, on a flight, and I'm like, okay, I have 5 hours to kill, and I'm, reading 200 messages on LinkedIn or Facebook. And that's what I really love so much about the power of social media and how many connections and how many incredible people I've met. And now I've learned, I try to be really diligent from checking my spam folders, looking at my messages on Instagram, Facebook, and really just trying to just be really thorough and detail-oriented because, like I said, there's so many opportunities and so many great connections that are possible.
Well, I mean, finding you on LinkedIn, that was crazy because we're in Virginia and Jessica's in LA, and we're trying to pitch 2 television shows at the same time. And I'm like, well, she's got a toehold in that area. She can help out there. We can do stuff here. She can send us to New York if we need. So we got the country between us. We got the country divided here.
Wow, that's amazing. And I know once I had over like 13 or 14,000 friends on LinkedIn, I really started getting messages, from all over the world. And I think that's really great how it works for them. The more followers you have, I guess, the more you come up in people's searches. So that's something I guess is important, whether it's Instagram or Facebook, is to have as many followers as possible, because then your name shows up when people are searching for an actor, publicist, or whatever it is that you do.
See, there you go. People listen to this. My magician friends, they're getting tips from my publicist, and this is free. They don't have to pay for this. So what else were you into pre-COVID? What projects did you have currently when the world stopped? What were you?
Yeah, right. I was working a lot of different things, and of course everything got canceled, and I feel like this whole entire year is pretty much canceled now. So before COVID, I was getting ready to shoot Malibu Crush. I mean, literally a month or so away from shooting the film. And then, in February, they started talking about COVID and potential shutdown. Then producers of the film were saying, let's wait until we figure out what happens with COVID, because obviously the film is shooting in LA and Australia, so they really had to plan it, several months in advance. And then, of course, the shutdown happened, which was officially on my birthday.
Wow.
And, yes. So, I mean, I felt like the world was ending. And at that time, I thought the shutdown would last maybe a month or 2. And then, I mean, now they're going on. I'm in complete shock that things are not even close to being back to normal. And in addition to the film, right after March 19th, I was supposed to walk in a fashion show that sold 1,600 tickets. And that was at first rescheduled to August. Then I got an email in July saying it was rescheduled again. I'm thinking, oh, it's going to be September, October. And then it's like, no, it's rescheduled until April of 2021. So when I it's canceled, I really do feel like 2020 is canceled.
It's been horrible for everybody in the entertainment industry and the entertainment world. I mean, it's unprecedented. Never happened before. And I think a lot of things are going to be different post-COVID in the entertainment. A lot of more, I mean, you know, these beautiful theaters, you drive by these towns that have these old theaters, they were barely keeping it together. They're all going to be gone. And how many entertainers are just going to just drop out because they've used all their nest egg. Their mom and dad have already helped them out as much as they could, and there is nothing to fall back on. You don't have that extra cushion in your bank account anymore. I think a lot of people are just going to get out of acting and get out of magic and get out of pursuing their dreams just to try to make ends meet.
That's sad. Hopefully it can come back, though.
I mean, that's not, and I really do. I hope that things get back to normal, and it's really sad when you think about it, especially for the people that are just getting started. And I know that is the most difficult part, is the beginning of your career, and now it's going to be that much more difficult to get your foot in the door if you just moved to LA a year or two ago and you don't have any publicity, you don't have any credits yet on your resume, but because any work that is happening, it's going to go to people that already have credits because there's less going on. I don't even know when student films are going to happen again. I just heard like all the sports in California for college are canceled. Wow. So many things are canceled. And then in addition to, I mean, all the big budget and middle budget and low budget, I mean, all these productions that are canceled and don't know when it's going to start again. So if it's difficult for the people, you know, the A and B and C level actors, it's going to be that much more difficult.
So are you guys back to phase one again?
It's like phase 1/phase 2. It's so weird because in Orange County, things are they're more open. So like people can go to bars and go to restaurants. In LA, you can only dine outdoors. For example, there's no indoor dining. You're not allowed to have events. They have private parties, although they usually get broken up or something happens, but you can't plan an official event. So there hasn't been a red carpet since March. Hair salons and nail salons can only operate if they're working outside. So it's ridiculous.
Wow, outside hair cutting.
I know.
Wow.
It is, but it's not even funny.
Wow. So your movie that you're going to film is called Malibu Crush.
Yes.
Is that on IMDb at all? I mean, would they have any pre-production stuff? People could look that up?
Yes, it's on IMDb. We have an Instagram page, and you can learn about the cast. And we've done several interviews promoting the film. We're going to shoot as soon as we're able to. We were thinking September, October, and just hoping that that's possible. Again, it's really about when we're allowed to shoot and when we're allowed to travel. I mean, right now, you're pretty much trapped in America. Most countries won't even allow Americans to visit them.
What's the percentage? Is it 1/3 in Australia, or more than half the movies going to be filmed in Australia?
Well, I would say more than half the movie.
Oh,
and
wow.
So
okay.
They can so where, let's say, like, if I'm shooting a scene in LA, they can make it look like I'm in Australia and vice versa. So if there's some scenes that, if I have to, let's say, stay in LA and can't go to Australia, they might be able to work something out. But still, people from Australia will have to come to the United States to shoot here. So even if they make it so that I don't have to go to Australia, someone still has to shoot in the United States because there's scenes in both the United States and Australia.
Right.
Someone has to get across the world.
Right, yeah. So where are you from originally? You're in LA now. Where are you from originally?
Yeah, so I'm from Ventura County. I grew up in Westlake Village, and I've lived in Southern California most of my life, except for about a year and a half when I lived in Miami. So that was, really exciting and a lot of fun, and definitely a different world than LA. And then I moved back here after taking a break from acting, and I've been living in Hollywood for the past like 6 years already, and it's gone by so fast. I mean, I can't believe it's 2020. I mean, once I got back into acting, I was working stably until COVID came around, and so now it's just just a lot of hoping and praying and doing a lot of interviews and rehearsing online, just doing everything you can virtually. I'm relearning Spanish because I've been doing auditions in Spanish.
Wow.
And I know something that I've done to be productive during COVID. And I took 3 years of it in high school, but I completely forgot it all. Although when you're relearning it, it actually gets back to you because it's like, oh wow, these words all sound similar, and I'm going through different things, and it really does come back even though you forgot it all. So hopefully, like I said, things get back to normal, and learning Spanish and all this other stuff will be really helpful for all these upcoming auditions.
Well, we went to Mexico like 4 times. We did a cruise, we did a couple vacations, and then something else. And we know 1-word sentences and 2-word sentences. Yeah. That's all we know, and all of it's out the window now except cerveza. That's about all I know. Dos cervezas, por favor. That's all I know.
Yeah, I took French in high school. I don't remember I don't remember much at all. I could ask, which way is left and right and where the bathrooms are, and do you speak English? That's pretty much it. But it's good to know if I wanted to go back and figure it out, I'd probably remember it. That's good to know.
But Jessica, she told me that she took French in high school, and she was so good that she went overseas and went to France, and she could understand people and communicate, and it was great. They did a high school field trip. Great.
I was impressed with myself when I was over there. I asked somebody for directions to somewhere, and he responded in French, and I understood, and I got myself there. I was so proud of myself, but I couldn't do that now.
But no I got a magic DVD, Jessica, from a Canadian magician. And he did not say that the whole DVD was in France, and there was no French, and there was no button to push to get it in English. And he walks out on stage and says, Buddha, 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 ha, 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 ha. And the whole audience just goes crazy. So the first 30 seconds, I'm scratching my head. What did he say to that audience to whip them up that daggone quick? What did he say? And my wife comes in the room. She says, I don't know. He's speaking too fast.
He was going really fast. 1,000 miles a minute.
That DVD is no good to me. I don't understand a word he's saying.
That's my feel like when people speak Spanish fast, I can understand a few words because it's true. Like if you don't know it that well, they really have to slow down. I know for native speakers are probably like, okay, this is too slow for me.
Yeah.
But no, it's funny too because when I've done auditions in Spanish, you're trying to put emotion to the words, and then you don't really understand the words that you're saying. So, like I said, no, it's going to be really helpful. And I mean, lately, the past 5 months, all my auditions have been virtual. So we'll see how my Spanish turns out in person one day.
Now, how is that in virtual? Is it more fun? Is it less fun? Do you like it better because you're not in a waiting room, you don't have to drive across town? Or is it because it's cold because you're just talking to a TV?
Less personal.
Yeah.
I like it better and worse. So if the audition is far away, then I much prefer virtual audition because, as you know, our traffic is horrible. And so it can take you 45 minutes to an hour just to get across town. But if the audition is somewhere close by, I really do prefer meeting someone in person because I don't think you can really get that in-person connection or understanding off your cell phone. And also, too, I do think, too, with self-taping, people that are better at self-taping have an advantage over people that aren't as good. So let's say if someone is a better actor, but they're not that good at self-taping, they might not have as good of a chance as someone that, let's say, isn't as great of an actor, but is an expert at self-taping. Yeah. So it can work for or against you. And I do really wish this back to before COVID when I had a variety where I did have self-tapes, but also some in person. So you had some of each.
Well, I didn't know that existed pre-COVID.
It did. Of course, it wasn't as common, but it started, I would say, maybe the past 3 or 4 years, started becoming more popular. especially now with so many online TV shows and social media.
Wow. That's pretty cool. Yeah, a lot of magicians are trying to do the virtual thing, but it's not the same. I mean, when people film television shows, magic for TV,
yes,
it's always the audience reaction, them clapping and them doing stuff, and it's just not the same. You're just looking at a dude in his living room dancing around doing magic, and it could be awesome, but you don't have that audience reaction, so you have to look at the screen to see what the other people are giving thumbs up or smiley face emojis. It's not the same, but it's better than not working.
Yeah.
No, exactly, and it's true. There really is something about the reaction. It's the same thing like when you're walking on the red carpet and you're doing interviews on the red carpet, and there's an audience and people looking at you, and there's some type of excitement from being around a group of people versus when you're just in your living room. It's like okay, it doesn't feel different. It doesn't feel like it's an event or a celebration or something special. It just seems like, okay, it's just another day of your life.
Yeah, so, you have nobody to feed off their emotions. It's nice to be able to feed off people's reactions, emotions, everything else. It gives you more energy, which gives them more energy, just makes the whole thing better.
Yes, exactly. And being with your friends and your family, and that the whole camaraderie of a group of people together, people are drinking, celebrating, and versus now, like, people are at home and maybe the kids are sleeping and they just have some quiet time, or they're stressed out because of COVID or something like that. So I think like it's not like everyone's all together and they're celebrating. It's kind of like people are just in the middle of dinner, or like I said, their kids are sleeping or they're in the middle of working from home or something. They're like, oh, let me just watch this magic. So it's such a different situation now. Absolutely. And I mean, at the same time, there's people that want content. And so, it really is a balance of, creating good content, getting an audience, promoting it, and doing stuff without all the in-person avenues that we're used to having. Well, the reason I took so long to get onto a podcast is because I heard regular radio DJs making fun of it. A podcast, some guy in his basement doing some podcast. Come on, really? But, it seems like everybody and their brother has one, but ours is different because we're doing something different, and we do have something to say, and it took me so long to do it because of that. I was just heard all the negative. Yeah. Well, of course, I mean, there's always, and how that is, I mean, when you tell someone you're an actor, or you tell someone you're doing something entertainment, there's always going to be a lot of negatives, and I think it's because podcasts are so new, and radio has been the established medium for a very long time. There's a lot of people who aren't used to technology or, anytime something new comes out, you always have a lot of detractors and people saying stuff. But then if you look at statistics, people are listening to things on their phone and on their computer, and podcasts and streaming are where it's at right now. So I think whether you're a podcast or a radio DJ, I mean, there's opportunities for both. And there really isn't any reason to dismiss podcasts because millions of people listen to them. Well, and you're saying people want content. I'm surprised how many listeners we have already. I mean, it's great. It's growing. It's doing great. Well, and that's incredible. I mean, it just goes to show how well you've been promoting it. And also, too, I mean, from winning Penn and Teller, I think that's definitely, helped you, draw such an incredible audience. I know if this wasn't COVID, of course, you'd have shows every day right now. Yes, and that was before Penn and Teller. They were already on the books. My summer was packed even before Penn and Teller. Yeah, it was. Yes. And so I know, and now your summer is like with virtual shows on Zoom and online. And it's funny, I actually, like on Friday, I have an online interview with Florida Man Radio, and it's going to be on the radio in Central Florida, but then you can also listen to it online as well too. And, nice. And so it's great to be able to do an interview on a Florida radio station from Los Angeles. And, just to think that if we had COVID many years ago, this wouldn't be possible. Right. Well, I mean, and, all these actors get into New York television and everything, and they don't have to travel. They're just doing it through Skype or through Zoom or whatever, and everybody's just trying to get content, like you said. Yes, and I'm also shooting a pilot on Skype this weekend, which will be interesting. I mean, I never thought that it would get to this.
That doesn't sound possible.
I know. I don't even know how it's possible. I just know that I have some lights and I have my phone, aka my camera.
Wow. So can you talk about that project? What is that one?
I mean, I can't really say so much about it. It's a comedic pilot, and then obviously hoping that it gets picked up by network and is going to be aired. I'm thinking either like Hulu or one of those online streaming networks, or Netflix, or one of the anything that's online and streaming. That's what they're going for, since that's what they said, that right now streaming is where it's at. That people aren't, they're watching cable less, and they're more watching shows on their phone or computers. So that's where my pilot is actually going towards.
Isn't that funny though? Because people still think of, you're on TV, you're a big star, and then it's like, no, it doesn't make you a star nowadays.
No.
You might get more views on Netflix.
There are so many channels now and so much stuff online. It used to be, we're on the NBC on Thursday nights. Well, they got the great slot, and now it doesn't even matter.
No, because it's so true. There's so many stations, right? Like there used to be like 20 different stations, and that's why it's so important to do a lot of publicity and to promote yourself, because there really is a lot out there now. Versus, I guess back then, just from being on TV, you were pretty much automatically famous. But now you have to do more than just be on a show or just be in a movie to be famous.
Yeah, there's more legwork afterwards now.
Much more between social media and interviews. It really is, I think, an everyday job. It's not like how it used to be, where you did your film and you did some press junkets and you were done.
Right.
Well, I'm okay with that. Whatever it takes, whatever you need. Hook me up, Jessica. I'm ready.
But you guys are great. It's been such an incredible experience working on all your interviews, and also the fact that you do a lot of charity work. I mean, I love promoting the Magic of Giving project and watching the segments. And the interesting thing is that we've been working virtual for the past several years. So even though virtual work has been popular since COVID, for us, I mean, it's been, like I said, over 2 or 3 years. I can't even think how long it's been, but we still haven't even met in person yet.
Yeah, that's so weird. It's really weird. And I keep inviting you into my house. Okay, I said, come on out. Get out of LA. Come out to the country.
I definitely will take you up on that someday soon, I'm sure, as this shutdown never ends.
Well, you can come out here and get snowed in a blizzard. That'd be totally opposite of what you have out in LA. Bring some warm clothing.
Can you imagine? I'll go out there with a light jacket and some shoes, and I'm ready, and then there's a blizzard.
Natalie's little niece came over for Christmas, and she lives in Hawaii, and all she had was belly shirts. She froze the whole time because that's all she owns in Hawaii.
And a sweater or a heavier sweater. She didn't really have a heavy jacket or anything, and it was cold. I don't know how she made it. I hate being cold, so ugh.
That's going to be me. I'm so bad with cold weather. If it's under 60 degrees, I'm I can't go out right now. It's too much for me. If I have to wear a coat, then it's too cold for me to go out.
Well, maybe you shouldn't visit in the wintertime, maybe. It gets in the 30s, 40s over here, so.
I think I'll have to, sometime, I have another month or so before it gets too cold for me.
Oh, no, it can get pretty warm in October. Now, when night comes, it gets a little chilly, but during the day, it can get pretty warm.
There's hot days in October. I do a lot of Halloween events and working on farms at Halloween, and during the day it can be brutal, and then at nighttime, really crisp and cold.
But that's a perfect weather to go out and have a bonfire.
There you go.
Roast marshmallows.
That sounds like fun.
There you go.
Jessica, we got 3 fire pits here on the property. We got a tree house. If you don't want to stay in the guest room, you can stay in the tree house. It has a bathroom in the tree house. You'll just have to come inside and do your makeup and stuff. I don't have a mirror in the tree house.
Wait, wait a minute. How do you have a treehouse without a mirror, first of all? And how is the ladder situation looking?
Oh, we have steps now.
We have, yeah.
Yeah. It's done up right.
How many stories is it?
I couldn't hear you.
If you fall down, how many stories would you fall?
Oh.
I think it's 16 feet off the ground, 16 to 26, something around there.
Okay. I might have to.
Second or third story, but you got nice steps and railings. It's safe. It's good. Lana and I went out there the other night and slept in it. We had a little daddy-daughter bonding time. We watched Scooby-Doo and had a picnic out there. We had fun.
Don't worry, Jessica. You can stay in the guest room.
I'm not putting you out there. No, I'm just saying.
You can stay where there's electricity. It's cool.
Yeah, it gets cold at nighttime.
This is the new version of The Simple Life, like going from the middle of the city to living in the
Jessica, that's our show. That's our show. Magiclife made simple. We'll get you and all your girlfriends to stand in the treehouse for a week.
There you go.
She got real quiet.
Yeah, I don't think she likes that. She's not gonna. She keeps saying she's gonna visit. She hasn't. I don't think you're convincing her.
You know what? I don't know if this reality show is going to be good though for Jewel TV.
No, not that one.
I'm like, I think this is more for Bravo.
Probably.
Well, that's your show. I was pitching you a show.
Yes, I was like, but yes, I mean, I just can't imagine, like, it's just the total opposite of LA, where you drive outside and there's traffic and people everywhere, and then you go to the middle of the country and you can drive around and not even see a person.
Right. Whenever I'm doing the charity stuff, Jessica's always saying, well, if you need an idea this month, just cook up some dinners for some homeless people, or just give some money to homeless people on the side of the road. And it's like, they're not really... I might drive around all day and not see one.
Right.
Yeah. And I was so
it's
shocked.
not like L.A., Jessica.
Yeah, and like I said, I was completely shocked because, I mean, anywhere you go in LA, you can't walk a few feet without seeing a homeless person. And I know I suggested that so many times when we're thinking about stuff, because in LA, it's like there's so many people that need help. I mean, thousands and thousands. You can just spend all day, giving out food or giving out stuff. And then out there, it's like you have to actually look for someone.
Right.
Now, there's some spots that are starting over the since I've known you, past year, that, at this stoplight, there's usually somebody begging. But that's not 100% of the time.
No, and it's usually, you see this, it's the same person day after day.
Yeah.
But yeah, and they're not always there. You're right.
It's not LA.
It's not, yeah.
It's not like we could take a day off to film this, because if I'm trying to film a Magic of Giving project in the summer when we have 183 shows, I have one day off, and now I can't find a homeless person. Jessica, that's not going to work.
You just got to confirm with them when they're going to be there.
Yeah, I'll call them on their cell phone or call their agent and set up an appointment.
Exactly.
Like, hi, when are you going to be on by the stoplight today? We're doing a Magic of Giving project. Oh my God! But we've done a lot of other incredible things, and I love watching your news segments. And I do feel like I know you, even though we haven't met in person, because I've seen all of your YouTube shows and your news segments. And the funny thing is too, is when I'm working with reporters, and they'll call me and they're like, "Are you out west?" And I'm like, "No, I'm in Los Angeles." And this happens all the time, where they think that I'm there and they're looking for me to look for you, and I'm not there.
Well, I remember we did that college. It was like a charity show for the college, and they were calling you to try to find me. And it's like, no, just call me. I gave you Wes's number, and I saw the lady walking around with the camera to do the interview, but she was just walking around campus, and I was like, oh, that's a big camera for a student.
You
remember that? Yeah, I didn't realize I should have flagged her down.
No, it's really funny, and sometimes I do feel like I'm there. And then another thing too is, like, they don't know the time difference, how it's 3 hours earlier. So sometimes I've gotten calls literally at like 5:45, 6 in the morning,
and I feel bad.
but I know if it's a day that you have interviews, I know to answer the phone, because I know that they think that I'm somewhere in Virginia.
Yeah. Especially at Christmas time. I know those charity shows at Carilian's Hospital, it always gets news, and you always are on top of it. And I know they're calling you at 5 and 6 in the morning. And I'm like, oh, thank you, Jessica. God bless you. Now go back to bed. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. I love it. No, and sometimes it's great, though, because sometimes I actually can't fall asleep, so I just start my day really early, and then it's 1 o'clock, and I'm already done with everything. So it kind of works out well.
Wow. Well,
and honestly, I work with clients, and I have, auditions and, just various things. Like I said, I'm working in Australia with Malibu Crush. That's where the director is based out of. So I'll have rehearsals or phone meetings at all hours of the day. So I feel like if I need to be awake at 2 a.m., 5 a.m., any time of the day, I think at this point I just can go 24 hours if I have to.
what is the time difference in Australia? Is it completely opposite? No.
It's 17 hours later than LA. So
Wow.
on the East Coast, since it's 17 hours late. So since you're 3 hours ahead, it's 20 hours ahead of you then.
Wow.
So,
wow.
yeah.
So they're almost into the next day. Compared
Exactly.
to us.
It's
Wow.
crazy. If it's, let's say, 5 p.m. in Los Angeles, it'll be 1 p.m. the next day in Australia.
Wow. So you literally lose a day when you go to visit Australia. You lose
Exactly,
it.
yeah.
You get it back when you come home, right?
Yes.
But you lose it when you go there.
Yeah.
It's almost like time traveling. You're going into the future when you go to visit Australia. That's so
funny.
weird.
I'm like, what's Wednesday like? What's Thursday like when you speak to my friend in Australia? Like, what's happening tomorrow?
Did they get a vaccine for COVID yet?
Are things reopened? I wish.
Wow.
I get to see much farther than tomorrow, unfortunately for that.
Well, the stuff that you've helped me with, though, I have 2 books that I've written, one for kids and one for preteens. You've helped me not publish them, but promote those. My charity shows, theater shows, getting me on podcasts, getting me in TV and newspapers, front page of newspapers. Yeah. I mean, with my other publicist, I was trying to keep record on my desk. Maybe if I could just get one cool thing a month, that would be great. But for you, I just threw that little notepad out the window because it's I can't keep up.
That's a good thing.
That's awesome. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's all the time.
I mean, that's such an incredible compliment, and I really feel honored that you said that. And it goes to show, I think, that when you put effort, that it really does pay off. And it also helps that you do such a great job and that everyone likes you. Whenever I do interviews, I always hear such positive, feedback from everyone, and you're always early to things. So it's really helpful on my end too. I think when you work together well as a team.
Well, being early to on set, it's a lot of waiting around. But I want to be the first one on set. I want to be early to an interview because you just don't know. Like a magic show at a theater, you might have to rearrange furniture, or they might want something else that I'll have to build or make. Or can you do something with our anchor man? Can you do a special trick with him? And I have to create something on the spot. That extra time really helps me to be able to do that.
Oh, I know, and they'll call for last minute requests, and they'll say, "Oh, can you bring a table, or can you bring this?" And even on my end, I know, when I do interviews myself, I like to be early because you never know when something's going to happen. Maybe you want to get a cup of coffee. Maybe there's a last minute change to the script, and you want to rehearse something. Maybe you want to go over your interview beforehand, go over the questions, practice, and also to just not being in a hurry. I think it makes things turn out so much better because when you're rushing, I know, whenever you're in a situation and you're just getting somewhere on time, you're so nervous and stressed and frazzled that when you get there, you're not at your best self.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I think when you get there early, you have time to decompress and just get back to normal and, relax, settle down a little bit. And you're not boom, boom, boom. So before the interview happens, you're, in more of a calm space, not oh, no, I'm rushing. I just made it on time and I didn't miss my makeup and all that stuff.
I guess it could be good for a love scene, though, if you had to run 6 blocks, then you get there and you're just panting the whole time.
Oh, jeez.
You know? Oh, Tommy. It makes it more passionate.
I don't think it happens very often in interviews. Right?
No, not in interviews. No. I'm talking about for yours. In front of the director or something, or chemistry. She looks flushed. Look at her. Like, she's really passionate about this dude.
He just had a really long day in traffic, actually.
Yeah. Well, since...
That's why he's crying. I'm like, maybe good for dramatic scenes, too, right?
It could be.
Absolutely.
Like, especially after dealing with traffic and trying to find parking in Hollywood if they decide to not give you parking and stuff.
I heard a story that Mel Gibson got what was his famous movie? Mad Max? He got that because he showed up at the interview like all beaten up and bloody. He was messed up because he got mugged the night before and they beat the heck out of him. And he showed up the next day and he looked rugged and he looked like he could take a punch. And they hired him for He said if he wouldn't have got mugged, he wouldn't have become a superstar, he thought.
I had no idea.
I think I butchered that story, but I think he told it like on the Tonight Show or something. I'm sure you can look it up on YouTube.
That's such a cool story.
Yeah. So he said if he wouldn't have got beat up and mugged, he doesn't think he'd ever be in show business.
I mean, wow, I think the only time something good comes out of being mugged.
That's about it.
Yeah, you don't hear those good-hearted stories very often.
I know, right? It's like you get mugged and then become a star. It's like that's definitely like one of those, true Hollywood stories that you don't hear very often.
No.
But again, though, like so many actors do have some pretty, peculiar stories about how they made it because everyone's path is so different. So listening to people's interviews and hearing that stuff, I mean, it's all across the board how people got their big breaks.
And it's crazy. You don't know. And that's what I'm trying to teach my little 8-year-old little girl. I tell her when we show up at an event, the show is going on from the moment you pull up to the moment you leave. It's not just that 45 minutes on stage. I asked her to carry a cardboard box to the car the other day, and she was kind of, just giving me a pouty face, like, I just want to sit down and play a video game, Dad. And I was like, honey, people are looking at you. They don't know what we're talking about, but you have this sad face on. They're immediately going to go to that I'm making you do magic shows and I'm treating you bad all the time. And you just got to, it's show business. You got to entertain the audience from the moment you get there to the moment you leave. Even when you're carrying equipment, you have a smile on your face.
No, and it's so true. I think people have to understand that as like once you're out in public, you really have to behave accordingly. And I think, it's something, it's very much part of your career. And a lot of people in show business maybe don't understand that, especially if you're new, but it's so much more than just your work. It's really about how you act and behave and talk to everyone because you never know who you're going to speak to. I mean, I've been on red carpets and standing next to someone, you find out, and you're like, that's who I'm standing next to? And you don't know until afterwards. And it goes to show, it's like, well, thank God I wasn't saying or doing anything embarrassing because I'm standing next to like an A-level producer.
Or at the coffee shop down the street from your interview, or at the grocery store. Yep. You never know.
It's so true, and that's why I say to be careful, like what you say and do and how you treat people, because you never know who knows who and who's watching. I mean, you can be at a restaurant or out and about, and there could be somebody that knows you and you don't know them, and they could be watching, staring at you, filming you with your cell phone. You have no idea. And so it's true, like you always have to behave as if everyone's paying attention to you and dress that way and just carry yourself that way and always keep that in mind, because even if you think no one's looking, there's someone looking. Even if you think, oh, well, I'm not friends with this person on social media, or I'm not friends with that person, they're not following me, it doesn't mean that they're not looking at all of your posts.
Right.
It's so important, like your behavior online and offline. Nowadays, it's forever, whatever you do. It doesn't go away now with the internet.
That's crazy. I told Natalie I got recognized the other day at a grocery store. She sent me to get some things at the grocery store, and the checkout girl recognized me for my Fool-less appearance. And when I mentioned something to her, she said, "You're that magician that was on TV." I said, "Yeah," and I gave her my business card. And she said, "Oh, yeah, I already looked at you on Facebook. I was already stalking you." I said, "Oh, did you see my appearance on Facebook?" She said, "No, I saw it on TV." I said, oh, well, it's on the Facebook thing, too. You just got to keep scrolling. She said, well, I saw you walk in, and I found your Facebook. And the guy behind us in line got in the conversation. He was like, she just stalked you a little bit. She didn't fully stalk you yet. She just stalked you a little bit.
She's only gotten started.
So funny.
That is hilarious.
And I've never met this girl before in my life, and we just moved to this, house 2 years ago. This is a grocery store I've only been to
a handful of times.
Yeah, 3 times in my life. So it's not like the girl knows me.
That is, it goes to show you the power of social media.
Well, and network television and being on television. Yeah. Speaking of which, I'm going to be on Fool Us tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yep.
On the CW network. It's re-airing. So my segment is re-airing tomorrow night.
That's fine, so everyone can watch you win. And, and of course, can we talk about anything about, like, your TV show or anything like that?
I think we can say that is in the works. We have a long ways to go. That's all we can say. But I don't know if we should say the network or anything like that. But yes, let's spend the next 8 minutes talking about it, and then we'll wrap everything up. Because I can go on and on and on. And thank you, Jessica. If it's because of you that we got this. Thank you, Jessica.
No, you're welcome. I'm so glad to be a part of this. And so we've been, pitching a TV show, and I found the perfect place for it. And I messaged them, and they just, Wes and the people from the TV show had to me this week. And now we're going to have some exciting news coming out. I'm just so happy to be a part of the show. And we're going to be, all over the country. And it's just been such a great opportunity because finding a right place, for any show that you have is important. And finding a network that has, like, your same values and same goals and that aligns with who you are is, it's like finding pieces to a puzzle that go together. And so when you find that, it's like, it's like making magic, literally making magic happen with a magic show.
Well, and one of the other people that was interested in me prior to this one was telling us that we need more drama in the show. And it's like, no, we're a family show. I don't want to do a magic show or a television show that my daughter's going to be embarrassed to watch or to see her mom and dad fight on film. And, that's going to live. You talk about social media stuff lasting forever. This stuff's going to last forever. I only want it to be something that she's going to be proud of. And some of these things, they want drama every episode. And some of it's obviously over-the-top fake. So who cares because it's over-the-top fake? It's still fake drama. We didn't want that. And this company understands that, and they stand behind us. And Jessica, they've told me they give me a deadline. They want 16 episodes in the can by September 1st.
Yep.
We're working on promotional materials now. And they're also going to talk about not only having it on their network, that they're going to try to have it in syndication. Mm-hmm. That's their ultimate goal, is to have it syndicated. They're helping me with merchandising, Jessica. They're talking about helping me with the whole thing. I'm overwhelmed right now. If you guys are usual listeners to this podcast and you're just now clicking in, Jessica, I didn't even tell you this before we started. I have a migraine. My head is spinning. This has been crazy. I'm just, wow. I don't know where to start. I have 16 episodes to get out. I have this week's episode of Magiclife to get out. I have a podcast to do with my publicist. Fool Us is airing tomorrow. The world has stopped, but my world is spinning.
To think all this happening during COVID, it's just so incredible too, because this show, the platform, it's airing on your phone and on the computer, which is where everyone's going now. And so it's so great to, make lemonade out of lemons. To be able to have all these accomplishments during COVID, to be able to get a show going, and to take advantage of technology and, the wave of the future is incredible. And I think this is, the start to having multiple seasons of a potentially hit show. So, it's really exciting. Amongst everything that's going on and the whole year being canceled, starting with my birthday, it's nice to have some positive, good news.
Well, and they're not only just on the app on your phone and on the internet, they also paid, I don't know I don't want to speak out of school, I'm just making up a number, like $500,000, and they're on Apple TV, and they're on, I think, Hulu as well.
I'm not
all
sure.
Those, all the online platforms.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I mean, and that's what's great. And if you've read and watched on the news, that's where everything is going, and where all the viewers are is all these online platforms. And so being able to reach them is so important, and will help your career. I mean, all of our careers, even more so. And it's great too, I think, to have a reality show that's positive and that's not about drama. You know, as you know, I've done a lot of reality TV. So this is a really good new direction, because the show, like I said, isn't going to be like cat fights. It's not going to be like parties. It's really, you know, something that's like positive and family friendly, and something that parents can watch, kids can watch, and everyone can watch, and something that I think, you know, will be a good change from all that's been going on. Yeah, to show how you not only have your magic stuff, but you also help others. You know, also, I think, inspire people to do more charity work. Because, you know, from working with you, I see like how much, you know, you care about the Children's Hospital and the Magic of Giving Project. So it really is, you know, so great to be able to connect with people on so many different levels.
Well, once you do it, you touch them on that level. There's nothing else that can do that, and you want more of it. It's like a drug. When I produced a car for that lady in need and gave it to her, you're just leaving with an awe in your heart, and you're like, no matter what happens in my life, will I ever be able to touch somebody in that way, where as long as she lives, she'll never forget the day a magician made that car appear for her.
I mean, I wish, I don't even think we were working together. No, we weren't working together at that time, but I wish I could have been there just to see her react.
Well, I mean, I told Natalie, I think old girlfriends will forget about me before that girl does.
Yeah, that's a big one. But I also remember doing, the angel tree one time for one of those episodes. And that just, I was about to tears, because I found one where the lady didn't ask for any toys or anything for her kids. She only asked for... Hold on one second.
The angel tree is just a Christmas tree in the mall. I think it's a local thing.
Oh, is it?
And they have tags on the tree, and you pick it off, and it says, this is a needy family that's already been vetted. So go ahead, Natalie. I just wanted to say that so Jessica knew.
And a lot of times, there's kids asking for video games, and they're asking for, these really expensive
PlayStation
toys
4.
and everything. And this lady, all she wanted was diapers and clothes. And I said, Wes, we're taking this one, and we're buying her diapers, a lot of them. We're buying her clothes, and we're getting her toys, because they tell you the age of the child. And so we figured out, some age-appropriate toys. She was so bad off that she just wanted some diapers and clothes for her child. And that just made me cry, and it moved me so much. And I was like, we're going to do that, and we're going to spoil this lady, and we're going to give her kid quite a few toys too, just to be able to make Christmas awesome. So even the small ones, like an angel tree, can be moving.
Touch your heart. I mean, even years later, you're getting emotional now thinking about it. Yeah.
I can't imagine with having, one and two more on the way, just to all you want is some diapers for your kid for Christmas. It's just got to be hard.
I see when I've worked on your segments with the children's hospitals. I mean, it's so sad when I watch to see that there's kids that are spending the holidays in the hospital. I mean, I just can't imagine what it's like to go through that, to be a child and not have your health and not have a normal childhood, and to be sick, and then the poor parents. And I mean, it just seems like the worst thing ever to have to go through.
Right.
So the fact that you brighten their day, even for a few minutes, is remarkable. So, and that's one of the things, like I said, I've always loved about working with you, is that it's not just magic, but charity. And that's why I think this network is going to be such a great fit, because you're going to be able to highlight all of this stuff. And I get to be part of a reality show that, is family friendly and positive, and, showcases everyone, to to a whole new audience.
And we got to get you out here, Jessica. We got to get you out here so we can film some segments with you.
Yeah, yes, not just be over the phone.
No, we definitely have to plan this for sure. I guess it'll have to be for the second season, since you have to have everything by September 1st, which is in 20 days.
Yeah, there you go.
But season 2, so for season 2, for sure, we definitely, unless we can get me on some Zoom, maybe we can do like a Zoom appearance before September 1st.
Whatever, we'll get you on here. We got to get you on here. Hey, we're going to run out of time with this podcast, Jessica. Where can people find you? What is your Instagram and your Twitter and your LinkedIn?
Yes, you can find me on Instagram at Jessica Ross Official, IMDb, Jessica Ross, Facebook, Jessica Ross 2018, Instagram, Jessica Ross 19, TikTok, I am Jessica Ross, and I believe that's mostly it for now. LinkedIn, I'm Jessica Ross. I think it's Jessica Ross 7 or something. There's always more than one Jessica Ross because my name is so popular.
That's all right. Well, you're awesome. Thank you for being on our podcast. Thank you for everything.
Well, you're welcome. It's been such a pleasure, and I look forward to all that's going on in the future.
We'll get this together when maybe after September, when our episode's up, we'll make some more announcements on the podcast as well.
Definitely. I look forward to that, and I look forward to be on the podcast again when we're able to officially announce all the exciting news for your TV show.
All right, girl. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right. 1, 2, 3.
See you next week.
Check us out online at wesiseli.com and patreon.com/Wes_Iseli for behind-the-scenes videos, blooper videos, never-before-seen footage, discounts on merchandise, magic trick tutorials, and more. That's Wes Iseli, spelled WESISELI.